Wonderful world of contour drawing. Our last discussion was about innate drawing. Innate drawing, again, is the idea that where you have learned your entire life has been a mix of so many different techniques on how to draw. We discussed handwriting, outlining, like the cave wall drawings when they outline their hands on the walls. There's so many different ways since human immemorial about ways of writing to communicate. Today we're going to isolate one of those called contour, the contour drawing. And again, think of it as an outline. Say, for instance, you can take this line coming down right here, but also you can see that the line goes in as well. So an outline is outlining the outside shape. But any of these lines, even say some of these lines that aren't as closely thought of as a line, can still be viewed as a line. And as we move around different varying objects, we can focus just on the lines in between segments of different parts of an object. Now, for the sake of simplicity, I have painted this can white so that you can see all the different lines as it moves through, and also as you turn the object. As you turn the object, this line becomes much more straight and thin, whereas when it comes over here, now it is actually moving into the object all the more. This is, again, isolated for our purposes for the class. But when you're at home, you're going to be doing this to objects that you have around your house. So let's look at some objects real fast before we begin about what would be a good object to have as a contour study, which we'll be doing. And I found a couple objects around my home where I feel may not be so well suited. Again, this is just a coffee mug. And of course, we can actually do a contour drawing, which will begin following the contour. But as you can see, the smoothness of the glass is not really allowing for, we can do a cross contour, which is an implied contour of the roundness of this shape going around the object, which is implied over here by the ellipsis on the top, which can change as you move it. But this is good for value studies. This is good for a lot of other things that we will be using objects like this for. But for this study, we want to find contours. Again, most man-made objects are not really that good for contours because, again, two things on this one is that it's, again, finding that outline, but the object, which is, again, different blank over here, this has writing, it has all these different kind of images on it, which confuses the eye because now sometimes the eye wants to follow this coconut or to follow the lettering. We're trying to find just things that you can follow the object itself. A couple good things that you might have around your house. Hats are always good. You can see that you can move this hat in so many different ways and bend and contort it, and all of these become lines that you can follow in a contour drawing. Again, if you don't have something like that, again, something simple as a white towel can be morphed into having all these different lines. Now these, again, are more fuzzy, but you can actually imply these lines as you kind of go through right here, kind of going around. You can see all the lines down there. And so these are kind of fun objects that you can make from anything. Another fun one, again, just like the can, is, again, you can have something as simple as a paper bag, which again has the lines that you want to be, that you can go into the object with, and could be good when you start out, when you're wanting to do a simple contour drawing. Again, moving the object around to see what it looks like. But sometimes what you can also do is find that same bag and just mess it up. Just throw it like that. And then now you have a new object that has hundreds and hundreds of these little lines coming out. You have some major wrinkles happening here, there, but then you have these little ones all around the object that, as you keep on looking at it, becomes much more visually interesting. Now, the point of a contour drawing is not necessarily to make a photorealistic version of this bag. What it really is meant for is to just think of it as a game to follow one line to the next, to the next, to the next. Slowly let your mind go and just trying to sink your eyes, say from, as I look over here, sinking your eyes to the next point and just trying to follow along with the pencil, your eyes to the pencil. There's a lot of different types of ways of doing this. Sometimes it would be called a blind contour, where when you are looking at the object as you are drawing it, your eyes never leave the object. So as you are going, you'll just keep on moving that from line, that point of intersection to the next intersection to the next intersection, and just keep on going without looking. And today we're going to try to do something more similar to that. Now sometimes you can take a rest, which I would like to, these are always kind of fun objects. Again, things that you would have in your house that are natural are the best to be using. Now for this instance of simplicity, which I got this can for, is that it allows for simple lines and clarity of vision to be able to see it. Because it's white, it doesn't have any writing on it. So now your eye is able to move very, very easily through the object. And that's why I'm simplifying it right now, because when we're first starting out, contour line studies can be very, how should I say this? They can be very annoying, or sometimes people would find it to be difficult to concentrate. And that's something that's about even meditation. To think about one thing for an extended period of time is very difficult. So rather than think of it as a study or exercise, think of it as a game. How many segments can you find? And just keep on going. And then never really thinking about what the end result's happening over here. We're just mainly just doing this as a game to try to sync our attention to the lines and points on the can. And it's also good to have, again, maybe something very visual. I have set up this green screen here so that as I'm making these videos, it's easier to see these lines on this white can than, say, if I had it on a background over here. It means this background here is interfering with my attention to the can itself. So right now we want to focus on the can itself. And I will try to adjust these glasses. And we'll see how that went, and I will start the drawing, because these glasses have been a little difficult. Looking at this object, one of the best things you want to be doing is to be visually close to your object. You know, you don't want it to be so far away where you can't see it. So this is within arm's length of me, and I hope we can see for that, you know, this kind of distance between the pad of paper that we're using, the sketchbook, and the can itself. Now, also, you want to have a good time with the can as well. Like, not, you know, actually seeing visually, you know, what would you like, you know, to be looking at. It's going to be a game, but it's a game of your choosing. And of course, like for instance, like right now as we see it, this doesn't really, it's kind of flat, so it's not as visually interesting for me. So let's make it fun for ourselves and move the can around to the point where, like, you know, I'm really loving this little kind of line right here. So I kind of want to I want to draw that. And I feel like kind of like that shadow becomes a line too. So for this purpose today, we're going to just go with this shape. Now another thing is you don't want to be moving around too much. So as you can see, if I'm moving around like my head from side to side, the can itself is actually shifting and changing, and you know, slightly, but it's definitely shifting and changing. So you kind of want to settle yourself and just kind of get relaxed. Also, one thing that we want to do is that we're going to try to match our hand via the pencil to our eyes. So we kind of want to match the size. If you can see that, if I'm kind of grabbing this can and I'm pushing it right here, I kind of want that drawing to match somewhat of that size. Now, what would happen sometimes if I start over here, like say for instance right here, and my can that I'm trying to make is about this tall, if I'm trying to make this little line and I go over here, and it's so tiny that I'm going to have some problems making a can that small. because these lines are kind of getting long. It doesn't give, it's not much movement that can happen. So when we're trying to think of that scale for this paper, we want to be able to have, the space to be able to fill these lines going across the paper. So try actually making it, again, as you see it with my hand here, we're going to try to put that, kind of scale in. And again, you could pick, there's no wrong way of doing this. You could pick any point. And of course, as you take the point, we're going to probably start from, I would like to start from, let's start from this little corner right here. If you can see that, I think that's a good place to start. Puts me towards the top of the page so I can work my way down. So I'm actually going to work my way down. And of course, now that I hit this little edge right here, I can choose to go down, as you see that, or I can back it back up, or I can choose to go around this way. So with every intersection, you have a choice. Now I'm just going to follow this along, and of course going really slow. I'm going to move a little bit faster because this is a demonstration and I don't want to take up too much of your time. But now I'm actually back over at this other point. So from this point I can choose to go down this way, or I could choose to go up. For our purposes here, I'm going to choose to go up. Now, one thing that helps with the concentration is that at every intersection, you have a point of rest. So I'm still at this intersection right here. So now as I choose to go up, I'm following the line going up. And now I'm hitting another intersection, the intersection between going around up or down. So for again, this purpose, I think I'm going to go around and follow the bottom line as I go around, and just allow my eye and my hand to sync. And of course, as I get closer to the other side, I'm at this intersection, but also if you look at my paper, they didn't really match up. Totally okay that they don't match up. We're not trying to actually make a drawing. We're just trying a realistic drawing of this object. We're just trying to sync our eyes. So now I'm over here at this side, correct? So now I'm going to follow the line up and around. And as I go up, all I want to be able to do is sync my eyes with the can. And of course, as I keep on going around, I'm doing this a little fast. I'm back at this intersection. Now this intersection, you can choose to go back through. And now I'm going on the bottom line. So now I'm following that bottom line. Now this is where it can get really fun. So I'm following, I'm kind of like right here now. Now I can actually choose to hop on I guess it's the cap, I was going to say bottle cap, but I guess that's what is that called? The metal opening device, I guess, is what it's called, for the can itself. And I'm not going to pick up my pen. You can right here at this intersection pick it up to actually do these other lines that you're seeing here. Or you can choose not to pick up it at all. Like for instance, I can just go straight down like this and move right over again to it. And again, no wrong way of doing this. It's all about the eye coordination. I could also go back up and around to the point right here and go over, because I see this line, which is kind of this fun line going around the can. And then as I'm going around the can, I can start forming to where the hole hits. And then as I keep on going, I can just go back into the same cap. I can go down to where the cap goes into the can, and it hits the rim again and goes back around this way. And you can see that I'm like right over here. And again, now instead I can actually take that shadow. You see the shadow going around? I'm taking that shadow over. And now I'm hitting the side of the can again. Now I can just keep on following it if I want. Go straight through the object, which is that shadow that's right here. And again, just keep on going through. Now, again, there's no wrong way of doing this. Again, also, now that I'm back at this intersection down here, I can choose to follow that shadow shape that's going up and around this way. I'm back at the cap, so I can go straight through, or I can go back to the other shape coming back down and around. And this can keep on happening again and again. Now, of course, now that I'm back at this intersection over here, I could follow the bottom rim of this. Now, this is where it gets really specific. And you see where there's the line of the can and the line of the shadow. These are all lines. You could choose whichever one. So I can actually choose to follow that, or I can choose to follow the shadow, which is coming down. And it actually kind of pops down like this, reuniting with this line that I originally went across, which I can now follow back to the original point. And then now I can choose to go down to this point. Let's do this point right here. And again, if you're getting tired, sometimes it's just good to just stop. Now I'm at that point, and if you're at an intersection, you can rest. You can look at other things. You see, I haven't moved my pencil, but also I can move around. I can move my eyes. I can even move my pencil off, and then come back into it. Put my pencil right back where and now you can start again. So you don't have to always keep your eye so, again, coming over here, so completely focused. Now that I'm here, I have a choice to go down or go back to that point. I can go into the can. And then here we go. As I'm going into the can, there's a couple other ways to go about this. And for my purposes here, I'm gonna go off the road. Rather than staying on this, I'm going off trail here. I'm gonna follow that shadow up, and then bring it back around over here. And then as I hit here, I'm gonna follow it to. And again, I'm moving kind of fast because you can go much slower than this. I just want to be able to show the path that I am following. And again, moving a little fast, so I kind of missed that one. It should have been like that line right about here, but then you still have this kind of interesting thing happening there. And then reunite with that line that again, now I'm back up at this point again. Now you can choose at this point to start following it around again, or you can actually go now to a point that you had. So now that I went up, I can go back to that point, which is right here, and just to start following it down. Just keep on following what I see as you're going through. And again, moving a little bit fast, but fast is okay sometimes. Just to show you guys what this is